Chapter 1: The Sunflower Seeds. We're out of soy sauce. My mother's voice rang across the courtyard like an alarm bell. She stood by the outdoor coal stove, stir-frying vegetables in our heavy iron wok, the kind that clanged like a gong with every movement. The air was thick with garlic, oil, and urgency. My older brother, age 8, already knew what to do. He grabbed the money and dashed off toward the corner shop. It was around 1959. I was 4, still small enough to believe that every errand was an adventure. I tugged at my mother's sleeve, eyes wide with pleading. "I want to go. Let me go with him." She didn't even look down. "Next time," she said, flicking her wrist to keep the food from burning. I stood frozen, watching the gate where he disappeared, my fists clenched. And then came the tears. My father was inside, but as soon as he heard me crying, he stepped out. He crouched beside me, smiling gently. "Feng, I have a secret toy. Your brother hasn't even seen it. Want to see?" I nodded through the sniffles. We went inside to our only table, an old wooden one, 1 square meter, 4 legs, no drawer. It was where we ate, studied, chopped vegetables, and sewed clothes. It was, quite literally, the center of our world. My father took out his cigarette box and peeled away the silver foil lining. He laid a coin on the table, covered it with the foil, and pressed it down slowly with his thumb. "Watch closely," he whispered. The shape of the coin emerged beneath the foil, every ridge, every detail, like a miniature sculpture. He peeled it off and held it up to the light. It gleamed like treasure. I gasped. The tears vanished. Magic had arrived. Back then, we had almost no toys. The only one I remember was a small clay doll that wore a dress with a hem decorated with red flowers. She fell so many times that half her face chipped off, but I kept her beside my pillow until the end of primary school. One day, my mother threw her away. My heart shattered like her porcelain cheek. But in that moment, with the coin and the foil, I forgot all about the soy sauce and my tears. This was our family. My mother, my father, my older brother, and me. A young couple raising 2 children in a tight, vibrant courtyard in Beijing. We lived among 7 families, 1 shared tap. No doorbells, no fire alarms, no private gardens. The walls were so thin you could hear your neighbors argue, sneeze, or sing. The kitchen was an outdoor corner of the yard, always smoky, always alive. It was noisy, crowded, and full of kindness. If one family made dumplings, a plate would magically appear at your door. If someone got sick, others helped carry them to the hospital. No ambulance, just hands and heart. We kids ran like wild cats, dashing through open doors. Everyone was auntie or uncle. If you cried, someone held you. If you laughed, the whole yard laughed with you. When I was 12, the world still felt simple, but it trembled with something I couldn't name. It was the time of the Cultural Revolution. For those unfamiliar, the Cultural Revolution, 1966 to 1976, was a political movement led by Chairman Mao to wipe out anything deemed unrevolutionary, from classical literature and religion to basic kindness. Universities shut down, intellectuals were beaten, imprisoned, or sent to labor camps. Children were told to report their own parents. Obedience mattered more than truth. Words like capitalist and proletariat drifted through the air like cigarette smoke, present but shapeless to a child. What I could feel clearly was loss. My neighbor, Chen Guang, whose name meant morning light, was 2 years younger than me. His grandmother had once owned land, long since taken by the state. But the past clung stubbornly, and because of their class background, his family was being sent to the countryside for re-education through labor. In those days, bloodline mattered more than deeds. The day before they left, he came to see me. In front of their home was a small patch of earth, 6 square meters, where 10 proud sunflowers stood, their green faces turning toward the sky. "You can have them," he said simply, "so they won't be wasted." I froze. My heart twisted. If I said yes, I could be seen as sympathetic to a capitalist family. We were taught to break ties with people like them. But he was my friend. We had grown up together, shared our snacks, climbed trees, and made slingshots from rubber bands. Saying no would crush him. Saying yes might risk me. I couldn't speak. I looked away. Tears welled up. Even now, I still want to cry when I remember. Under that pale Beijing sun, I learned something no political slogan could teach. The sunflowers had done nothing wrong. They had simply grown toward the light, just like him, just like me. That afternoon, I carried home an invisible weight, one I never fully put down. Around that time, another kind of seed began to grow in me. I was 10 when I first heard about acupuncture. The idea struck like lightning. You could place a needle in one part of the body and heal something somewhere else? A packet of needles could do what an entire pharmacy might. It felt like discovering that magic was real, and it came with diagrams. I found a book on acupuncture and devoured it. I started practicing, on myself, of course. I remember sliding a needle into my right leg, feeling a strange mix of pride, pain, and scientific wonder. When Mum discovered that I'd been secretly teaching myself acupuncture, she surprised me with a 9 by 5 by 3 centimeter rubber ear model. About 60 auricular points were marked by tiny red dots and crisp black Chinese characters, turning that little ear into a miniature atlas. I was over the moon. It was the best gift I'd ever received, and I've kept it ever since. No ear model I've bought later has ever matched its craftsmanship or detail. Then one day, Auntie Zhao, our neighbor, came by. She suffered from terrible constipation and had heard whispers that the little girl next door is good with needles. "Can you try?" she asked, half joking. I was just a child, but I believed. I placed a single needle into the back of her arm, exactly where the book told me. The next day, she came back, glowing. "It worked," she said. That moment lit a fire in me. Healing could be simple. It could be gentle, precise, and deeply human. Even now, whenever I hold a needle, I feel her joy. I remember the girl I was, curious, brave, and ready to believe in miracles. In a world where politics could tear friends apart and sunflowers could be taken away before they bloomed, I chose another path, to grow toward the sun, to heal. End of chapter 1 narration.